You always act on your values.
Values that we have are so just a part of the air that we breathe.
Disagree with both of you guys a little bit here.
Hello, welcome to the Beyond the Questions podcast, because every great conversation starts with a question. We're having real conversations about life with life coaches, and we are anticipating another great episode. So get ready and let's get started.
Man, you guys missed Jason 2 seconds before this started. He just gave us a great face to start out and welcoming us back to Beyond the Questions, where we're honest, unscripted, and learning out loud together, just like that.
Definitely unscripted for sure.
Yeah, I am Ericka.
Maybe too honest sometimes. Well, anyway.
Well, very, very honest. We're vulnerable. This is a good thing. Well, again, I'm Ericka, and I'm your host today, and we're going to explore a powerful question. Why do you keep living the life you were never meant to live? Hopefully, many of us know what matters to us, but living out those values consistently might be another story. Before we get started, let's just hear who's here with me. If you guys don't know them, TQ, can you introduce yourself, please?
Absolutely. My name is TQ with TQ Coaching Solutions, and I believe that everybody has something great to offer this world. And there are a few of us, especially some of us entrepreneurs, creators, and innovators who aren't able to get that out to the world because fear has stopped us, maybe some self-doubt, or we find ourselves stuck in inaction. And so what I love to do is help people break through that so that they can get those things that are on their heart and their mind, that vision out there, and they can share with the rest of the world because we need it. So that's what I love to do.
Thank you. And Jason?
Yeah, my name is Jason Roten. I own Jason Roten Coaching, where I help leaders lead from the inside out. So I want to look at those moments when you show up and you have a plan, but it doesn't go the way you think it should. Maybe it's in a tough situation. You've got the whole thing scripted out, and then you get in a moment and it goes differently. And so I love walking with leaders through those kind of spaces. I'm also certified in emotional intelligence coaching, and so love to talk a little bit about emotions. So that's me. Good to be here. Thanks for the opportunity. And we won't critique that Ericka's question starts with why. It makes me feel judged, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Well, we could talk about that later, Jason. And as a reminder, maybe, if you haven't listened in, I support women who are experiencing trauma, relationship challenges, or just hard life situations. And I truly am honored to walk alongside them when they're going through this, just creating that space during the hard so they can move through. And as y'all know, we are in different time zones. I'm sorry, I'm just laughing. Jason is like dark. TQ, I'm not sure how you're as bright as me. We're about 2 hours apart, but I don't know what time zone Jason is in right now, but that leads into this next question.
TQ and I are in the same time zone. I just live in the woods.
Perfect. Even better.
Yeah, and I've got like massive floodlights around my desk, so it's all good. I'm a dark-skinned guy. You got to brighten me up, so that's how that has to work.
And
I'll try to be somewhere in the middle. If an alien landed on Earth and watched your life for 1 week, but couldn't hear a word you said, what would they conclude that you value the most?
My computer would be up there because I spent a lot of time with my nose in my computer. I don't know. It would struggle between figuring out going to the gym or sleeping because I equally do both.
Interesting.
So wanting to do more gym stuff, but like today was one of those, I didn't go to the gym today, so I slept. So just for others, but I won't give my whole life away.
Not in one moment.
Not in one moment. There you go.
All right, Jason.
I'm pretty sure if an alien landed in my life and watched it, would run away in fear.
No, it's a curious alien.
Yeah, it's cute. Yeah. He's still scared. I think food would definitely be up there. This is why TQ looks like TQ does, and I look like I do, because TQ likes the gym and I like to eat. So he's going to walk away thinking I value food. I hope he's going to walk away thinking about Sunday was way different than the rest of the week. So Sunday afternoon is my day to like unplug. We spend a lot of time as a family. We kind of try not to leave the house. We just kind of are here to rest. And I hope he notices that, because there's not much rest Monday through Sunday at noon. So I hope he sees that. But yeah, and he'd probably say I value TV a little.
What is this box that doesn't speak and has all these people acting on it?
Right, yeah. And why does he watch that?
Moving on quickly. Anyways, it depends for me. It depends on what week the alien would land with me. I really think if he landed when I had my kids, truly, I think he would say that they were probably the most important thing. I mean, I like the food too, because if they don't eat, they're probably like, what is this stuff you put in your mouth all the time? And then when I don't have my kids, they're going to be like, what is she? She's still trying to figure it out. She does not know what's going on. Well, isn't it interesting when we sit and kind of think about that, what we have in front of our face most often, there's a little bit of a difference between our professed values and our lived values. And TQ, you kind of hit on that. Like you said, I really kind of want to go to the gym, but then you didn't. So if we keep living this life that we're not meant to live, what does living in alignment with our values actually mean? Before we fully dive into that, we kind of have to discuss what values are. So according to the Cambridge Dictionary, here we go. Jason usually likes to use dictionary a lot, so I put this one in here for you.
I don't think I've ever used the dictionary.
I think you have like 3 or 4 times.
Okay.
I'm going to go back and listen.
I'm just going to say the alien's not saying anything about the danger noodle that lives around your neck. The alien is going to comment on the snake that lives around your neck.
No, I'm going to share it with him and he'll feel comfortable.
Yeah, no. He's going to agree with the rest of us. You're crazy.
Values are the beliefs people have, especially about what is right and wrong and what is most important in life, that control their behavior. So TQ and Jason, when you hear the word values, what does it mean to you?
I mean, right off the bat, it's stuff that's important. I think that, just the word, if, I got a good value at a store, it's, I saved money. Money is important. You know what I'm saying? And so even whether it's right or wrong, it all has to, in my mind, it has to fit in that. What do I carry that I think, ooh, this is really important? And so I think those are my values. My life tends to flow in that direction. Even when I don't recognize that it's important or valuable, sometimes there are things that are valuable that I don't even know that I know are valuable till I actually see myself living it out. But that's probably for later.
It is. Well, You mentioned going to the gym is important. What's something else that is important that you value?
My family, my wife. I could even lump all that up into close relationships. Those are a big deal to me. Doing things well, that's important to me.
Thank you. Jason, what about you on values?
Yeah, I think values it's where I spend my time, money, and energy. So they're the things that I'm going to invest time, money, and energy into. And they function, for me anyway, my values function as guardrails. So they tell me if I'm moving in the direction I need to be moving to do the things I say I want to do. So if I say I want to be physically fit, my values determine what I eat. So that value determines what food goes in my body, determines exercise, determines sleep. So it's the guardrail that keeps me on the road towards my goal. So yeah.
So with that, and TQ, you can answer as well. How do our values really shape who we are?
I think it's...
Well, go ahead, Jason.
No, you go back.
I was just about to start off saying it's a lot like Jason said. So you go right ahead. That was going to be the first phrase out of my mouth. So since I was going to start with something I think you said, you should probably go.
And then we'll see if that's what he was going to say.
Yeah, I'm not going to repeat what I said. I think, repeat the question.
And this is to you, Jason.
She said unscripted, everybody. I'm just telling you, it's unscripted.
How do our values shape who we really are?
Yeah. So here's the thing about values. You have them whether you know it or not. And you can say you value X, but your actions tell me you value Y. So I think the answer that if I say I value this and I really want to live that out, it's that nasty word that nobody likes called discipline, right? Like if I'm going to live in my values and they're going to define who I am, I have to be disciplined enough to say, I value that. I'm going to do this. Because for me, one of my values is curiosity. Right? So if you spend any amount of time with me, you will figure out I am an endless fountain of questions. But there's also a side of me who knows what you should do and wants to tell you. And so it is the discipline that I invest in that has become a habit over time that causes me to ask questions. Because I'm also pretty opinionated and most people don't care. Right? Like we get other people's opinions all the time. And sometimes you're like, yeah, I didn't.
I appreciate that answer, though. And just, did you need the question repeated like Jason, TQ?
Wow. We're singing today, aren't we?
Couldn't
Think I
help
got it by
myself.
now.
I will remember that. I also value revenge. It's a dish best served cold.
I like the healthy revenge.
Man, when it comes to that shaping us, I think it's really interesting when sometimes one value competes with the other and you tend to see like which one kind of floats to the top. You know, at any given moment, those things can change. And so whatever I'm kind of really holding on to affects how I'm living it out. You know, so like I earlier said, if the alien was watching me, they would see sleep and going to the gym, especially this past week or past couple of weeks have been, I've been kind of going back and forth. You know, the alarm's been set and sometimes the clothes have been out, but then the hand hit the snooze. I'm like, yep, not doing that. And so, or I actually got up and I did it. And so the value of rest and the value of exercise, those are kind of coming to a head, you know? And so that all affects how I start the day or how I function, depending on how I'm valuing one particular thing at any given point in time.
I really like that picture of that conflict with those two values. Before I move on, though, are you pondering this, Jason? Is there there's something he wants to say?
Yeah, I wonder if they actually live in conflict or if that conflict is a sign that something else is out of line and you're not getting to bed in time.
Maybe, but
So I
then
think
that would be
sometimes
another value.
Go ahead.
There would be another value. Let's say I'm not getting to bed in time. Then there's this other thing that's coming up that I value that I want to do that's not getting to bed in time. Still all the values, at least in my mind, all the values are still kind of popping up. And sometimes those values, I'm not saying that they're at odds all the time.
Right, right.
But there are times where I'm having to choose one over the other for whatever the reason is at that moment. You know, probably something else that I value. Who knows? So
I like that. So are they shaped by what we say, what other people say, our environment, a social group, religion, political beliefs from our childhood? What do you guys think?
We're going to talk politics. No, I'm just kidding.
You know, we're not going to talk politics, but I'm just throwing it out there that that's like something. Values can come from a group. So are they our values or is it a group value?
I use an image when I first meet with a client. We don't talk a lot about that, but when I first meet with a client, I show an image of an iceberg. So when we talk, and the iceberg is in water, right? And so every client's like, oh yeah, I get it. These are the things you can see, and the part below the water is the things you can't see. I'm like, yep, that's right. Congratulations. I'll graduate out and go do something else now. But most of them don't pay attention to the water. And the water is all of those things you just named. It's where we work. It's where we spend our time. It's who we spend our time with. It's our upbringing. It's the environment. It's the culture we're in, right? It's all the things that are shaping us and forming values that honestly we don't give a lot of time to. We don't think about. And we just kind of go on with it. So yeah. That's my thought about what shapes our values is all of those things.
Not paying attention to the water. So with that too, I kind of think about that picture, Jason, of being in the water. Are values something we choose or that we discover?
You have done a fantastic job at asking the questions this time. I'm turning that one back on you. I want to play reverse.
All right. I can, yeah, we can do that. You know, actually I think I've shared with you guys, I really like journaling, and I journal on my phone. I like that I can look back at where I was, and it was about 2 years ago. I had wrote this and I said, change must happen. It is another beautiful path, not imagined, not ruined, not tainted. So when I was kind of reflecting on this podcast and I had read that, I was like, was this a voice of discovery, or was I choosing to recognize that my values weren't lining up in my life and choosing not to live that life of pain? Have you guys ever heard the very old saying, watch my thoughts because they become my words, watch my words because they become my actions, watch my actions because they become my habits, watch my habits because they become my character, and watch my character because it shapes my destiny?
I've definitely heard pieces of it. I don't know that I had heard it all together before.
There's a little bit of the discipline Jason spoke in there. And before I fully move on, I do want to open that question up to you both. of or value something we choose or discover. And I know it's uncomfortable, Jason, because it's a little uncomfortable. We can do it.
It's not actually uncomfortable. I love the question.
Yeah.
I wondered if you were going to throw it back to us but you really have done a great job asking questions and hadn't got to share them. So I thought I'd just
Well, I
reverse it on
appreciate
you.
that. Thank you.
I think it's a mix of both. I think there are things I value that I can't see, that I say I value. Can't think of one off the top of my head, but I'm sure there are things that my wife would tell you that I value that I'm not fully aware the value I place on. And I know there are things that I would say I value now. Curiosity would be a key one of those. That 2 years ago, I would have said, well, no, probably 5 years ago, I'd have said, maybe, but I don't know. But as I've lived into that and as I've really owned it, like, no, this has been a part of me. But the thing I can see is it's been there for decades. I just didn't know it. And so that's one I kept because it was a value that I felt like was worthy. But I think there's other values that, do I want to admit? So if a value is what I spend my time, money, and energy on, can we talk about the glowing rectangle in all of our pockets? Because I sure as heck don't value this thing. I wouldn't put it anywhere in my value system. If you look at the amount of time I spend on it, it'll tell you I value.
So did you really not take it on vacation with you?
I did take it. It lived in the glove compartment for 80% of vacation.
That is
That's awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
That's great. Did you have an amazing vacation? Like we've missed you on here and we didn't even get to ask.
Speaking of things I value the outdoors. I value the woods. We hiked for like 20 miles probably over the course of the week. I saw some amazing natural things. We went mudding in this like UTV kind of aggressive four-wheeler, four-seater. Oh my gosh, I had a great time. I wish there were videos because those would be worth watching. The pictures don't really show the joy that I was having, but I don't know that I've heard my whole family laugh more than we laughed on that like 3-hour adventure on this thing. I mean, oh my gosh, it was like nonstop. So no,
That's
it was
great.
It was fantastic getaway. Thanks for asking. But it's also really, really good.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do think, getting back to that question, is it something we choose or discover, these values? I would say yes. I think it's a little of all the above. Like, I'm thinking about my growing up, and there are several things in my family system that I feel that this is what our family did. These were the values of our family. We at least after I was 6 years old or so, we went to church. We, like, when the doors were open, we did that. And that was a value. I got to spend some great times with my grandma. And so now I don't know if that was my parents valuing their own time together and sending me to them, to my grandma, but I gained
Both can be good.
It can be good. But I gained a great love for time with her. We went fishing. We went to she lived in Jacksonville, Florida at the time. We went to some small minor league, maybe not even minor league, like farm league baseball games, And so there are several things that I learned to value out of that. There are things I learned in school to value, that I ended up kind of letting go. Like started to value making sure, like at school, you need to be seen if you're going to be well known and so forth. And so I wanted to be like, everybody, look at me and what I can do and those kind of things, right?
It's the hand motions. Look at me. Look at me.
Hey, I'm here, and I've chosen to go, that desire for all the eyes looking this way is not that important. Now, I may have some important things that I want those eyes to see, and I value that. And so, you see what I'm saying? And so there are things that I was kind of just born into. There are things that were part of my environment growing up that I held on to for a little bit and went, this is not as important as I thought it was. And I've put it away. And so yeah, we discover it, we choose it, we let it go. Some things are still in there that I probably need to let go of or need to raise up, so it's just this big combination of all of that.
So TQ, I want to make this funny, but I don't think it's going to come out that way. But it's interesting. You just give us this other conflicting values, right? Like here's this value of faith. And in the last episode, you told us about this potty mouth that you had.
Mm-hmm.
So, and
thanks for bringing that up.
And
he's worked on it.
I got smacked, right?
Got smacked.
See, but it's that value of fitting in and I don't know how many younger listeners we have, but we pin this on kids all the time. But the truth is adults struggle with this too, this value of I want to belong or I want to fit in, and I'll give up this other value to fit in, right? And so we begin to weight those things. So just think it's so clear as kids, right? I'll put a staple in my finger. I don't value pain. I'll use a potty mouth if I can fit in. But then I've got this other value of faith that says, no, we don't do those things. And we end up in this inner tension that's fighting against us all the time. So it was interesting to hear you say that about 6 and in faith. And I'm like, oh, well, there's inner conflict of our values as we wrestle through.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Sorry, Ericka, it's your show. I'll be.
No. That's great. And we're going to get to that a little bit too, and I'll keep it in mind. Just one more, a little bit deeper, and it could be kind of funny, yet do we act on our values? Meaning, do we make decisions with our values in mind, not just how we're feeling in the moment? And I can start with this one, right? I said, I hoped that the alien would say that my kids are my value. Yet I don't, where is it? It's over here. Here's mine, This, I do try to practice not having, and what I lifted up was my phone. I think we all probably know that, even without seeing us, if you're just listening. They might say that this thing is really important. And I have practiced a lot of really putting it down and not having it. I recognized it, and I was like, wow, I'm outside playing with my kids and I have my phone. Why do I have my phone? Go put it away. But it takes commitment, and even that discipline Jason was talking about, to recognize what is my value, and am I doing that?
So I think if you want a deeper answer to that question, you always act on your values. Your values just might not be what you say they are. So every time we act, it's coming from a value. Now that value might be something completely different than we say we value, but that action is driven by our.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I also think it takes some self-awareness, because some of our values that we have is so just a part of the air that we breathe, that I'm going and I have certain values that I feel like are front runners. They're right in front of my eyes. And like, yeah, I'm after this, so I'm doing this thing or that thing. But then there's those other things that we just end up doing. And maybe at some point we may look back and go, why do I do that? And answering that question is going to raise that value. So what was it that drew me to my phone, since we pulled that out? Or what is it that made me want to sleep when I was thinking I should have gone up to the gym? Whatever that is, trying to stop and go and answer that question, I think really starts to unveil and peel back. Here's some things that I'm holding on to that I didn't even know that I had within me.
I disagree with both of you guys a little bit here.
Love it. I do.
When she's wrong too.
It's okay. So what I hear you saying is that TQ, when he was trying to fit in, valued fitting in so much to say so. And I'm going to go to this point specifically about the stapler causing yourself physical pain. So value up here, so much so I'm going to hurt myself.
So hold on.
Is that a myth?
I don't want to interrupt that. For those of you who didn't listen to episode 18, you have to go back and listen to episode 18, where TQ literally succumbed to peer pressure and stapled his finger and then almost hit his dad's customer in the head when he threw the stapler. So go back, listen to 18, and then you'll understand the context of what Ericka did.
It was not a purposeful throw at this person, by the way.
No.
Just for context. You don't go back and you're like, I'm just listening. And TQ just stables himself and throws things at people.
Yes.
That is not how that went down.
I'm going to cause other people pain. That's exactly how it went. That's a different episode. But really, is that he's holding that as a value, or is that a misalignment of values?
No, the value that caused the action is that he wanted to fit in.
So was that the value that he truly held?
In the moment.
When I was stapling
so
my
he
finger,
was basing, that goes back to the other question. He was basing his decision in the moment off of his values of that moment, not if he stepped back and said, for me to fit in, I'm going to cause myself some physical pain just to fit in. Is that something I really want to do? Not saying that a kid can actually do that,
right?
Yeah.
They don't have fully developed frontal lobes. And I see what you're saying, but it's the habitual things that become the repetitive in the moment. So to stop picking on TQ,
Thank
right?
you.
I'll pick on myself. I want to be physically fit. I do, but there are habits in my life. So I would tell you I value physical fitness, but there's a repetitive track record that says I value buffalo wings and ice cream more than I value being physically fit. And so you can say every moment, well, it was in that moment, Jason, that you really just wanted the mint chocolate chip ice cream. Yeah, it was that moment and that moment and that moment and that moment. And so I think, so that's my argument.
Yeah, I'm going to pause you right there in that moment, right? There is a slight misalignment. Every time you go to eat the chicken wings, are you thinking about working out and thinking, I could go get some abs or I could eat my chicken wings?
No, I gave up abs a long time ago.
But so then it was those repetitive decisions that then all of a sudden you're out of misalignment with your value.
I'm out of alignment with my aspirational value, but my lived value is I want junk food.
Interesting.
Okay, Jason, I love that. Define the difference between aspirational and lived.
Yeah.
I think I get it, but just for people listening.
I think aspirational is what I want to be and live's what I do.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you I am, and I've done it, right? Like I've battled my weight for 2 decades. I was the biggest I've ever been at 24 years of age. And I was the smallest I've ever been at 44 years of age, right? So I value fitness, but sometimes that value is aspirational because I'm going to go eat 3 large pizzas and drink a couple beers. And it has nothing to do with it. And it's not just the one night. It's not just like, hey, I enjoyed myself at a birthday party. No, for 6 months, I've been eating junk food and not valuing. My aspiration is to be healthy. My lived value is I don't really care about my health. I can tell Ericka's still in tension with me. I love it.
Do you think that in those moments that you're aware that you're out of that?
Absolutely.
Sometimes yes, sometimes no.
Yeah, yes. Sometimes.
So if you're yes, then how do you know you're out of alignment? Like what are the physical signs, mental signs, emotional signs that tell you I just made a decision and that doesn't belong in my values?
Yeah. For me, when I have a value, an aspirational value that I'm not living out, I'm living out something else, a different value, then I tend to have tension, discord in my mind, like, oh, dadgummit, I did it again. And I wanted to do, and so that's the internal struggle there, that misalignment. And if I let it go on too long, it becomes despair, right? It becomes where I just give up. I can't do it, So yeah, we're talking kind of about, misalignment and are you always making a value? And I think the answer to all that is yes. Yes, we're misaligned and we're living in these values, whether they're aspirational or living ones or these things that, whatever they are, there's values there and they're not working. We talked about them being in conflict. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And so I think it's all the above. If I can throw that in there.
And yes, I know when I'm out of alignment. I'm a little grumpy and my wife will tell me so. She'll be like, what's going on? Something's not right. And there are behaviors I know. If I get up first thing in the morning and the first thing I do is grab my glowing rectangle, I'm out of alignment.
You have to tell us what your glowing rectangle is.
My cell phone. You haven't heard me call it the glowing rectangle?
No.
Yeah.
He did use that language before.
If I grab my cell phone, I heard somebody else call it the glowing rectangle and it just stuck with me and I love it. So I say it all the time now. Okay. So if I grab the glowing rectangle before I grab a book or before I brew coffee or before I spend some time reading and thinking and planning my day, it's a sign I'm not living inside. I'm living by a value that is not what I want my values to be.
So the opposite of that, how does it feel when you're living in those values? Like when you grab the book and you go make the coffee, what are the physical signs there? Or mental, emotional, what goes on in that space?
For me, I feel like I'm in rhythm. Like I said, I'm not going to dance, right? But there's a peace in my mind. There's a calm in my presence. There's a excitement about the day. It's all of those positive emotions that come out that I get to live into in that space.
What about you, TQ?
There's definitely there's a calm about who I am. When I'm living in my values, I feel good about what I've done. Now, my external life, whatever's happening around me may not be great, but I can look at myself and go, man, I know I'm in this scenario, but I'm being all that I know that I need to be in this moment. And that's a satisfying feeling, even if my circumstances aren't what I want them to be.
I really appreciate that. Before I close this out, is there anything that you two gentlemen would like to add?
Curious, Ericka, you said you disagree, and then you gave us a chance to rebut, but you never rebutted our comments. I'm wondering how are you holding that tension?
Oh, I'm holding that tension because I think that there is a lot there, and I'm okay with disagreeing, first of all.
For sure. Yeah, that's what makes us better.
Yeah.
Trust
And
me,
then-
I know I'm not right all the time.
Yeah.
Like
And
95% I'm not right.
I think it goes to so many things. I could discuss like growth in those tensions. And you mentioned being in discipline. And so even like if we go back, and I'm not trying to pick on you, it is just an example, Jason, of choosing the food over going to the gym. That could be a lack of discipline. So I don't see it as this conflicting values. I see it as that potential lack of discipline that is not there. And I mean, I can throw myself out there about even discipline in like bedtime routines. And I've seen that with myself, with my kids. And sleep is very important for all of us. And I know when it gets thrown out the window and I don't have that discipline, it plays out. Like there's ripple effects in everything. And I do value raising my kids well, even if it's hard, even if I have to make hard choices. And in that, I feel like I've been emotional these past few episodes, but that's okay. I don't think I've shared this here yet. You guys know that horses are a huge part of my life. And I had to decide about them recently, and it was really hard. I couldn't be a single mom raising my kids and have my hobby. I could have, right? I could have kept them, and my kids could have lived 4 hours apart from their parents, and they wouldn't have been able to be involved in a single community, no possibility for sports, no possibility for being involved in either community because they were so small. So I had to make that decision. It was a hard decision. I'm still grieving it. That's a whole other conversation. Yet, I made that hard choice because I knew that's what I valued more.
I would 100%. I actually think we agree way more than you think we do. Way more
I'm just not hearing you right.
Yeah. There's a priority to our values, and you are 100% right to value your kids over your horse more, right? If not, we'd probably have a whole different conversation off air, right? So, I mean,
Yes.
that's
Absolutely.
a realistic thing.
Yeah.
And I would agree 100% that growth happens when we aren't living in alignment with our aspirational values. So I would agree with all of that. I wonder if maybe the sticking point is not in the understanding that all action is derived from value, whether we recognize it or not. But everything else you said, I 100% agree with. So yeah. And it's great. And I appreciate this group that we can push on each other a little bit and not agree.
Absolutely.
And so that's all I had to say. I just wanted to make sure you got what you needed to say out and didn't feel silenced, because it is hard now that we're in a triplet, right?
Yeah.
It can easily be 2-on-1. And so just wanted to make sure you got a space to say that.
Yeah. And we know that that's a value of ours, right? Since we're talking about those, everybody being able to get those things out there, potentially disagreeing and that being okay.
Yeah. And
I'm a big enough personality. I don't care if you both disagree with me. It's fine. But I know that not everybody's like that, right? So.
Well, and just so our listeners know too, like the three of us had to sit down and assess our values, and we respectfully disagreed on some things. I would like more. Jason would like less. He combined a bunch of mine that I thought were different. Yet we took the time to do that work. And it's really valuable for us. And
Values are valuable.
yeah, it
Yes,
just
they
came
are.
out and I was like, oh man. Okay, I'm going to close this out. This has been great. Well, I do want to challenge you guys just a little bit. And I'm going to say all three of us should do this. Pick one value that matters to us. Write it down somewhere. I don't care if you go, see it in your mirror in the bathroom or on the refrigerator or wherever it is. Write that down. That way, when you make your decisions this week, you're actually thinking about that value and thinking, with this decision, am I moving closer to who I want to be or further away?
I love it.
Could do that.
And with that, I'm just going to say that is a wrap. These two gentlemen are amazing, and I appreciate both of them so much. And just thank you, TQ, for your business and choosing to live in your values to help others overcome fear, self-doubt, and inaction, and launch their businesses, creation, or dream. I mean, that's like in line with what their values are. Maybe they don't know it and they need your help. And Jason, leaders come in all different shapes and forms in the family, outside the family, in business, and you are helping to shape them from the inside out. So thank you, gentlemen. And until next time, thank you for listening to Beyond the Questions. Bye, y'all.
Have a great week, everybody.
And we're glad that you work with women
Thank you,
in
TQ.
drama. That's a great deal, too. In case you're out there listening, you didn't know, she's great at that. Okay. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Beyond the Questions. Be sure to subscribe so that you can stay up to date concerning future episodes. And if you would like to connect with any of the hosts on Beyond the Questions, their contact info is linked in the description below. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next episode of Beyond the Questions.